nation is going up.
On East Palestine.
Mr. Leader.
As a proven fighter for American workers, Julie Su will be a phenomenal labor secretary. She's been on the front lines protecting workers as a veteran litigator for years, from helping place workers in good high-paying jobs, to fighting doggedly to combat wage theft. Julie learned the ins and outs of labor firsthand. I look forward to working with her on key issues for American workers, like updating the outdated overtime rule to pay workers what they've earned. That's really important. We're going to be focusing on that. Training and connecting workers to good-paying jobs, and ensuring the workers are protected in the workplace. The President couldn't have picked a better nominee. I'm really excited about her, and we're going to move to consider her nomination very, very quickly. Okay, next, on our CODEL. Which Senator Reid was one of our 9 senators on the CODEL. I led my first CODEL last week as leader ever. 8 of my colleagues and I met with leaders of Europe, of India, of Pakistan, of Israel. And there were 2 takeaways that became clear and that we emphasized throughout the trip, and we think we very successfully made strong impressions on them. First, the United States and the West must continue to deepen our relationship with India if we want to outcompete the Chinese Communist Party in this century. India is the perfect counterweight to China, and when joined with the West, we can really outcompete with the Chinese. The second thing we emphasized, and Jack Reed took one of the leads on this, democracies must unite in increasing their help to Ukraine. We made that argument to every one of the 4 national leaders we met. Prime Minister Modi, five that we met. Prime Minister Modi got the message during our meeting with him in India. We made clear that the 2 leading democracies of the world's oldest democracy, the world's largest democracy, should be a powerful check against President Xi in this century. We cannot afford to lose the lead. President Xi wants to outcompete America, not just on defense, but economically, geopolitically, technologically, in terms of our fundamental values and beyond. The second point we made in each meeting was the importance of standing shoulder to shoulder with the people of Ukraine. We made it clear to the leaders of Europe, India, Pakistan, and Israel that they must do more to help Ukraine. Vladimir Putin's illegal invasion's now a year old. And as difficult as the road has been, we've made it clear that the worst thing we could do would be to waver in our support right now. So the right answer is for the transatlantic partnership, all the free nations of the world, to help. It was a productive, exhilarating, motivating trip, and I think Senator Reid will agree. Now back to stateside. Yesterday, I called on the CEO of Norfolk Southern, Alan Shaw, to testify before the Senate regarding the horrific derailment in East Palestine. He has not said yes yet. We are renewing our plea. Mr. Shaw, you have an obligation, after what happened, to testify before the Senate. The accident was awful, devastating to the community, worst of all, preventable, according to the NTSB. But just don't take the NTSB's word for it. We all knew. For years, Democrats have pushed and even successfully secured stronger safety standards for rail around the country. But rail companies spent years pushing the federal government, particularly the Trump administration, to repeal the safety standards intended to prevent accidents like the one that happened in Ohio. Was Norfolk Southern advocating for these rollbacks? Of course they were. Why, after reporting over $3 billion in profit last year, did they lay off thousands of workers in the same year? $3 billion of profits and worker layoffs all at the same time? More pointedly, why would Norfolk Southern launch a $10 billion stock buyback last year when they could have and clearly should have used that money to upgrade safety equipment? So again, I'm calling on him to testify, Mr. Shaw, as soon as possible. Norfolk Southern, you've broken your trust with the American people. The American people, and of course the people of East Palestine, deserve answers. On student debt, lastly, today oral arguments will begin on President Biden's student debt relief plan, a plan that is nothing short of a lifeline for tens of millions of Americans, giving them a new lease on life. Now, Republicans talk a big game about helping working people, but today's case, pushed by Republicans who oppose student debt relief, is a slap in the face to working Americans across the country. Let me be clear. 90% of the relief going to out-of-school borrowers will go to those earning less than $75,000 a year. This is not some giveaway to the rich. That's utter bull put together by Republicans who don't want to help students. It's not a handout to the wealthy. It's critical relief to working and middle-class families. For generations, higher education was the ladder up. Every one of our families, mine, prized sending their kids to college, especially now for millions of Black, Latino, and Asian Americans. But over the years, the student debt that comes alongside a college degree has created not a ladder up, but an anchor weighing down Americans, making it harder to buy a house, start a car, start a family, move jobs. In other words, the burden of student debt has made it harder for Americans to achieve the American dream. That's what's at stake before the Supreme Court. Not just the chance to relieve the crushing weight of student debt for millions of Americans, but the definition of the American dream is on the line today. And wrapping it up. So, all this to say, the Senate's back. Here we are. I landed from Israel Saturday night. Sunday morning, I was opening up the brand new Long Island Railroad East Side Access in New York City. Went to a swearing in Brooklyn, a WTC memorial, and the next day I got on the plane, went up to Buffalo and Rochester. Here we are. We're keeping the momentum going into this week and this work period with energy, determination, purpose. Senator Durbin.
It's been 39 years since the United States Senate has had a hearing on the Equal Rights Amendment. We had one today. It was an important historic milestone. Why today? Because we realize with the Dobbs decision that the role and future rights of women across America is still at issue. We also realize from statements by Justice Clarence Thomas and others that other fundamental rights are also in danger today. Rights of family planning, rights of individuals in privacy, they're all at risk. And the third thing we realized is we have to step forward now and make it clear where we stand as politicians, both political parties. Do we want to enshrine in our Constitution equality for women in America? We know it's necessary after what we've been through in the last few weeks, but we also realize that it is something that we've been fighting to put in place for a century. 1 century since the first Equal Rights Amendment was introduced to the public 100 years ago. We believe now is the time for this party and this Congress to stand up for the rights of women under our Constitution clearly. The second issue I'll raise is judges, of course. 106 judges have been approved by the Senate so far. We're way ahead of the numbers of previous presidents, and we have another 30 or more on the calendar ready to be considered. I want to thank Senator Schumer for scheduling these votes. We've been able to keep up with the numbers produced by the committee, and we're going to continue to do so. What we're setting out to do is more than just fill vacancies. We want to make sure that these vacancies are filled with lifetime appointments that will balance the bench in America. We bring diversity to our ranks with the leadership of President Biden, and we bring talent to our ranks. Every single nominee of the Biden administration has been judged well qualified by the American Bar Association. The previous president cannot say that. We bring people of quality to come before the Congress, and the Senate has approved them, every single one of them so far, and I hope that continues.
Senators Reid.
Well, as the leader said, we had a very, very productive trip, beginning in Munich with the Munich Security Conference, and then going down to India, then to Pakistan, and then finally Israel, and then back home. In Munich, what we found was extremely strong, unified support for the people of Ukraine. This was an issue that united our allies in Europe particularly. And when you look at their contributions, not just military, but the whole spectrum, military, humanitarian, support to the government, and what is often overlooked, the absorptions of millions of immigrants. Our European allies are pitching in on a GDP basis as much as we are, and in some cases quite a bit more, particularly the Baltics and Poland. So we left there with a sense of real unity among our allies and commitment for the struggle ahead in Ukraine. When we were in India, we got a chance to speak to leaders. We also made the case that this was a battle between autocracy and democracy. When we spoke to Prime Minister Modi, we made that case. But we also were more specific. If an autocracy like Russia prevails, then an autocracy like China feels a little bit taller, a little bit more robust, a little bit more ready to take on the world. And it's not just Taiwan. China and India have been disputing the line of control in Kashmir for years. There was recently action. So the battle in Ukraine will have impacts there too. And what we stressed with India was the United States should be cooperating, coordinating, along with other Pacific allies like Japan, Australia, and the United States and India should start thinking about cooperative development and co-production of systems so we can expand our defense industrial base. We found recently that that defense industrial base is being severely tested by the conflict in Ukraine. We made the same message in Israel. When we talked to the Prime Minister, we indicated that if Russia wins, Iran wins. Iran is providing weapons systems to the Russians. The Russians, I think, will be reciprocating in some way. So this is not just about a struggle, Ukraine versus Russia. This is democracy versus autocracy. And for many countries, this will significantly increase the threat that they will see regionally. And it was a very productive trip, and I think we're going to get significant cooperation going forward.
Senator Stebbins.
Well, the trip that Senator Schumer and Senator Reid talked about is incredibly important, and the issues that Senator Durbin is talking about as well moving forward are very, very important, and we are committed to moving forward. But we also are committed to reminding people that the last Congress under Democratic majorities was one of the most productive in generations, and now the federal government is implementing what we did in those 2 years. And American families and communities are seeing the benefits of that every day. For instance, we're lowering the cost of health care. 2 examples. If you are 65 or older, if you're a person with disabilities on Medicare, you now are not required to pay any more than $35 a month for your insulin. This is hundreds and hundreds of dollars in savings and saving lives. And this is something we've already accomplished. The shingles vaccine is now free for people on Medicare, saving hundreds of dollars for our seniors. Second, we have the strongest economy in a generation, and we're bringing jobs home. This is very exciting to me as a Michigan manufacturing state when we see the renaissance in manufacturing and the fact that we are literally bringing jobs home. We have semiconductor plants and battery plants and other clean energy manufacturing that's opening across the country that's going to create literally tens of millions of jobs because of what we've already accomplished in the last 2 years. And we're investing in our rural communities with my chair of agriculture committee hat on. I'll just give one example. Affordable high-speed internet is now happening through investments through the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which are critical to connecting people at work, our schools, our hospitals, our small businesses, our farmers. In Michigan, I'm excited to say that homes and businesses and farms in the Upper Peninsula, the northernmost part of Michigan, will soon have access to high-speed internet thanks to the funding in the Reconnect program. This is about real people, real lives, making a difference in their success, their children's success, their health care every single day. That's what we are focused on. We are focused on making people's lives better, even as we tackle the issues now right in front of us moving forward. And the good news is American families are seeing results every day.
Thank you, Deb.
Senator Schumer.
Yes.
Can you respond to the Energy Department's conclusion that the COVID pandemic most likely arose from a lag leak and whether the classified information about that should be revealed?
Okay, the bottom line is we've got to get to the bottom of this. The Biden administration is committed to it. They have all kinds of people looking at it, and we'll wait to see their results. Once the results occur, it depends. I'd have to look at what kind of classified information and sources and everything like that were there.
Leader Schumer, would you consider releasing the footage from January 6th to media, considering the fact that McCarthy has handed it to one outlet at this point?
Look, I think what McCarthy did was despicable. It damaged our security, and certainly is something, you know, when he listens to a small group at the MAGA right, he's going to run into trouble himself. As for releasing it, security has to be the number one concern. Yes.
As soon as next week the Senate can vote on a resolution to block the new changes to the D.C. criminal code, how do you see that playing out, and will you be encouraging your fellow Democrats to oppose this?
Okay, look, we Senate Democrats care about D.C. political autonomy. We also care a lot about safety and security of D.C. residents. As you know, it's a privileged motion. It ripens next week, and there'll be a vote shortly thereafter.
Leader Schumer, you have this Gang of 8 briefing later this afternoon. What is your number one question and concern as you go into this briefing? What are you looking for?
Look, the lead has been taken by Senator Warner. I have backed him up on this, but we want to make sure that intelligence stuff is protected as much as possible. That's the key. Yes, young man over there. I think this is your first question. What's your name? Eric. Hi, Eric. We're very friendly around here.
Yeah, wait to get to know him.
Even friendlier and nicer.
So, do Democrats have the votes to pass Mayor Garcetti's nomination to the Leaves Committee? Do you personally support his nomination?
Okay, the bottom line is, as you know, the vote has been postponed another week. The ranking member of Foreign Relations wanted a postponement. We'll have to wait to see what happens in committee. Yes.
On the bill to ban TikTok, allowing President Biden to do so, are you supportive of bringing that up in the Senate if it makes it over here? Do you believe it constitutes?
We have to make sure that China is not getting information, and a number of our committees are looking at that very carefully. Thank you, everybody. All right, AUMF, last one.
On AUMF, do you plan on bringing up that?
I do want to bring it up. We have a large number of Republican sponsors, and we're working on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee to get a vote on it as soon as we can.
Senator,
Thank you.
On Julie Sue?
Julie Sue, I said something.
No. Are you?
All right. So let me just do this. So thank you and thank everyone so much. I feel a lot of love in this room, as I've felt every step of the way on this journey. I've called Brandon Johnson and Paul Vallis to congratulate them on their victories in advancing to the runoffs. We were fierce competitors in these last few months, but I will be rooting and praying for our next mayor to deliver for the people of the city for years to come.
Your class act, mate.
Thank you. 4 years ago, I looked into the camera and spoke directly to young people of color who look like me, and to every kid who felt like I did when I grew up. And I'm going to do that again tonight. I told you back then that anything is possible with hard work. And I want you to know that no matter what happens along the way, you should always believe that, because it's true. Believe that you can bring about change. Believe that you matter. And believe that you can love who you want to love and do what you want to do and be who you want to be. You will not be defined by how you fall. You will be defined by how hard you work and how much you do good for other people. Obviously, we didn't win the election today, but I stand here with my head held high and a heart full of gratitude. grateful to the millions of Chicagoans who came together as we made tough decisions, saw the struggles of our frontline workers, and beat back a deadly pandemic. I'm grateful that we worked together to remove a record number of guns off our streets, reduce homicides, and started making real progress on public safety. I'm grateful that we were able to connect youth to mental health services, housing, education, job training, and legal services. I'm extraordinarily proud that we made investments in communities that have been neglected for decades with Invest Southwest. And putting over $2.2 billion into communities in our neighborhoods. That commitment simply must continue. And I'm proud of the fact that we will deliver on the city's largest ever investments in affordable housing. Yes. And to achieve record investments in our public schools, adding school social workers, nurses, and special education case managers. Yes. And you better believe I am grateful that we took on the machine and entrenched forces that held this city back for far too long. Regardless of tonight's outcome, we fought the right fights and we put this city on a better path. No doubt about it. Now, as we all know in life, in the end, you don't always win every battle. But you never regret taking on the powerful and bringing in the light. My friends across the country and my fellow mayors, never fear being brave and bold. I have always believed that when a door closes, another one opens, and so it will be for me and Amy and Viv. Thank you to my family for inspiring me. My love of my wife, our daughter, and the rest of my family grows and grows, and they have always stood by me through thick and thin, and tonight is no different. Thank you, honey. Thank you to our campaign team. The best in the business, no doubt. And I want to say a special thanks to our incredible volunteers who did tremendous work connecting us with voters and making the case for me every day all over this city.
We love you.
And to my friends in organized labor, thanks for your commitments and support. And being with me and being together on the battles that we fought on behalf of working Chicagoans. That work must continue. I am honored to have been a partner in the work, which, as I said, must continue. I'm eternally grateful to everyone who gave us their time, support, and money and prayers. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. God bless you. God bless this incredible city. It's been the honor of a lifetime to be mayor. There's more work to do, and I just want to say thank you all deeply, deeply from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you.
I received a call from Mayor Lightfoot congratulating me on being in the runoff. Let's give her a round of applause, because it takes a lot of courage to run for mayor, and it's one of the toughest jobs. So I want to congratulate her on her service. Please, let's give her a round of applause. Well, let me just tell you, I haven't been this happy since my son returned from Afghanistan. And I want to thank you all, old friends and new, for joining this campaign. It's because of you we are in the second round. And I want to thank the voters of Chicago for making this campaign about the issues and nothing but the issues. I am running for mayor to bring to the city the type of leadership the city needs. But it's not a solo act. In all of my great public service challenges, from budget director under Mayor Daley to running the Chicago Public Schools when Bill Clinton called the schools a model for the nation, to going to Philadelphia, to rebuilding an entire school system in New Orleans after Katrina, to the work that I have done abroad. To the work that I have done abroad in earthquake-ravaged Haiti and Chile. I've had success because I've always had the good sense to listen to the community, to empower the community, and draw my leadership from the community. Public safety is the fundamental right of every American. It is a civil right. And it is the principal responsibility of government. And we will have a safe Chicago. We will make Chicago the safest city in America. And it will not only come from providing the police with the resources and the support they need, but from building the bond between the police department and the community. So we have true community policing in the greatest sense of the word. Because the police can only be as effective as the community that they work with. And I will support our law enforcement officers, but I will also support and have a zero tolerance when it comes to violating the law or violating the Constitution. And this is coming from a family of 4 police officers, including my wife. Look, public safety is the overriding issue. But we will not have true public safety in this city until the schools become part of the public safety solution. And that means we need to have the type of educational quality and educational opportunities so that we can provide for a future for all of Chicago's residents, regardless of their income, regardless of their zip codes. And that means that our schools need to be returned to the community. The money needs to follow the kids back into the community. And our schools need to be open through the evening, through the weekends, during the holidays, through the summer. And we need to bring the community into the schools, the faith-based organizations into the schools, the park districts into the schools. So we have programs and supports for our children, and we can keep them in safe and secure environments. And finally, I will not be a successful mayor. I will not be a successful mayor until I reverse the generations of disinvestment in Chicago's ports communities. And there is a pathway to accomplish that, which I have articulated for this generation. No more promises. We need to deliver. Because if our city is to grow and prosper, if our city is to grow the middle class and keep the middle class, we have got to invest in those communities that have long been neglected. And we've got to invest so that we are helping those individuals within those communities secure ownership and accumulate wealth. That's what local empowerment is about. So ultimately, that will be on my epitaph, because we need to address the underlying causes of the problems that the city faces, and we have to invest in those long neglected communities. I am a lifelong Democrat. And for some of you who remember one of the most dynamic progressive legislators, Dawn Clark Netsch, she was my mentor and my boss and my friend for 2 decades. And she taught me the importance of protecting a woman's right to choose. And she gave me an appreciation of supporting and respecting all communities. Which is why, when I ran against Rob Blagojevich in 2020, I supported marriage equality when they called it gay marriage. You cannot erase the record. Public service is in my DNA. I am the grandson of Greek American immigrants. 6 of our veterans, including myself and my 2 sons, and my father. I am the father of 2 police officers, one who has become a firefighter because he needs a more predictable work schedule. I've told people when they say, how hard are you working? I said, well, I'm almost working as hard as our rank and file police officers. But also, 2 firefighters in our family and 3 teachers. We are a family of public servants. I have never thought of doing anything else. My pledge to you is that I'm running for mayor to be the mayor of all Chicago. When people tell me that this used to be the city that works and it doesn't work anymore, I'll tell you, this city has never really been the city that works for everyone. But it will be when I am mayor. So tomorrow, I'm on the road, early morning, 5 weeks to the finish line. I said I was going to run an issue-oriented campaign and nothing's going to stop me. But I can't do it without your help. Are you with me? I just want to say this. God bless each and every one of you for participating in this journey. Let's stay vigilant. We've got 5 weeks to go. And with your help, we will be successful. And I want to say this.
They said that this would never happen. I am so freaking proud. Because we did this. You know, a few months ago, they said they didn't know who I was. Well, if you didn't know, now you know. Well, there are so many people who are responsible for this moment, and I thank you all. Of course, I want to thank the author and the finisher of my faith. That is my God. Because you all know the fifth floor is going to be real saved and sanctified. And of course, I want to thank my family. I'm not here without them. Especially to my wife. Let me just go ahead and get this out the way. My wife of 25 years come June. Chicago, a black woman will still be in charge. Of course, to the workers of this city, SEIU 8CII, SEIU 73, the Chicago Teachers Union, Cook County Colleges Teachers Union, the IFT, the AFT, and the baddest independent political organization, the United Working Families. There are so many elected officials here and leaders from across the city. Thank you all. Thank you so much. We have shifted the political dynamics in this city. But I want to acknowledge all the other candidates. My good friend, Congressman Garcia, Representative Cam Buckner, Alderwoman Sophia King. There's only one Dr. Willie Wilson. J. Maul Green, Alderman Rod Sawyer, and to Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Now, I may not have always agreed with you all, but running for office is difficult, and it is an act of service. Let's acknowledge and give all the other candidates a round of applause. And here, if you voted for one of those other candidates, I want you to know that I'm running to be the mayor of you too. And I'm going to work just as hard as I have to get to this point to earn your support. So I want to thank all the Chicagoans who made this happen. You went door to door. You made phone calls. Some of y'all been harassing y'all family members for months. As the next mayor of the city of Chicago, I apologize to all of the family members who received multiple text messages from your cousin, your auntie, your pastor, your grandmother. Thank you. Because what you did, you turned our hope into reality because you believe that a better Chicago is possible. But guess what we get to do now, y'all? We get to turn the page of the politics of old. Because with our voices and our votes, we've come together as one city to say that we deserve a Chicago that is better, stronger, safer for everyone. No matter where you live, no matter where you look, what you look like, you deserve to have a better, stronger, safer Chicago. Whether you live in Jefferson Park or Morgan Park, or McKinley Park or Gage Park or Humboldt Park, You deserve a better, stronger, safer Chicago. A city where you can thrive regardless of who you love or how much money you have in your bank account. A city that respects the workers who keep it running, that actually values them by building new affordable housing, blazing a pathway for home ownership. You deserve that, Chicago. A city where the trains actually run on time and where the public schools are fully resourced, and that every single child in the city, they get to have their needs met. A city where young people have real year-round jobs, where we can actually solve the violent crime that exists in this city. We deserve that, Chicago. Those of us who are facing mental health crises, you deserve where we can actually a counselor and mental health centers that are open across the city. You deserve it, Chicago. So in other words, tonight is about building a Chicago that truly invests in our people. You know, the most radical thing that we can do as a city is to love the people of Chicago. Now, some of y'all may have heard this before, but my grandfather and my father, who is here tonight,